Everybody, we're going to get started here in a second, so let's finish up your talking and we'll get started when Chris gives me the thumbs up. Good night. June. For guests here tonight. All right. Now you just had 30-minute discussion. All right. Even better. Thank you so much. Great. We're always happy to have new people in the fold to that can share with us. We learn from you. We learn from each other. Just what makes it such a great time. As usual, I'm going to try to bust through this agenda pretty quickly. We have a great program from Bow Tools, Bow Products, and everyone's anxious to hear that. So we're going to have to move through pretty quickly. So going down through the officers' reports, the first person that has anything to report is Craig Arnold. Do you want to come up and do? I buzzed through everybody quickly right there. So come on up.
Thank you. For July, we will not be participating in First Fridays because I don't think I could get any of you to come down and man a tent or this showroom on Independence Day. Am I right? Okay. August and September, we will be at the tent only. Finale for days, we will also open up as well. For the next remember, of a lot of work. If you want to sign up for that.
Thank you. Moving down, treasurer, I know I can tell you that we are continuing to make revenue. A lot of shoppers to help us with that. So you see those opportunities to down and help that, and you might want as well. Going the newsletter went out. If you're doing something fun or interesting or some real or a museum or writing an article, it's a good kind of what matter. The library, Don, as always, so he was out there. And, he's a nice guy you might buy because to talk. But I about cents or and book great stuff. Come on up.
I have a quick. You can also do something fun. I want to be aware of. I will put this on the call for lidded vessels. Gallery ceramic work, but gallery museums. What you should be.
You check the and we have all of me on you. So back some of the old but out on YouTube. Us can have an up how many subscribers we have 5 6 this and more AC. If you're out there, so Chris, do you have any for me?
Targeting some people to help out if you're interested in cooking your contact either for and download we were just just things on YouTube and on some for some other show intelligence and programs.
All right, Chris, you want to talk about events briefly?
John, the reason last for those who had a was there here today? So the day probably this is here with vendors. Maybe one event selling work with people the entire event with Triune, the restaurant, and there will be a fee for for being out on the street. But it should be a good deal because they have really good contacts as part of the Crossroads district, so they have access to thousands of people that they can bring out here for this thing. For Santa's workshop, we're hoping to be able to provide some food, and Triune has already volunteered to do all the preparation of the food. So the kids come in with their families, we give them a coupon, they go over to Triune, they get a free lunch on our tab. We pay for the food, Triune does all the prep. Also for Santa's workshop, Woodcraft is very interested in helping us out, maybe donating some wood, or if we can't come up with a really good number for the wood, I'm going to ask them to donate for the food, because the food is just as important as the wood in some respects. Christmas party, we're hoping to do presents with like for a bingo, because people have said they want to do something more than just simply come here to eat. And so I have a barbershop quartet that's going to entertain people. These guys are really great. And the presents will be stacked up on a table, and people get the presents. So I'm looking for people that make things. George has come up with a whole bunch of puzzle patterns, and so people can sit down there at the scroll saws and make little 5-piece, 10-piece puzzles, and we'll wrap them up and have them as part of the presents. I've got some earrings. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could be done. Yeah, we have a lot of events, so we could certainly use more idea people to help us out with events. And if you want to volunteer, just let me know. It's a fun group so far. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. Carol, membership update. Come on up.
Hi. Okay, we are now at 775 members, so we're doing pretty good. We're at the half point. We are now at 115 new members for 2025. Yeah, that's good. If you haven't picked up your wallet membership card, please do. They're in the box. That's your go-to for discounts for all of our sponsors. You'll need that. And then don't forget that if you get 10 new members to join, you get your free 2026. This is awesome. I can't believe it. In your aprons, there's something there that need picked up. I'm going to get a piece I missed, and everybody wants let me know. I'm going to get somebody to do it again. I'll do a couple of more things, and when we get there,
All right, thank you. It's awesome. Appreciate everything. And you program announcements tonight. I know we have an excellent program with Bill and Izzy. Safety committee, Steve. Hicks, I know Steve's here. Do you have anything you want to come talk about, Steve? Okay, and safety committee meetings are held on the second Wednesday of the month at 7. So the next one is July 13th. Rough to Ready, there's lots of classes available. That's headed by John Sloss and a slew of volunteers. You want to come up and make an announcement? Come on up.
I coordinate Rough to Ready with Ed Stewart, and we have 5 excellent instructors who are tied up this summer. So right now we're looking at offering, for the months of July and August, we're probably going to be offering, thank you.
I just want to put my arm around you.
Yeah. This is the small scale version. So right now we're looking at offering only 6 classes in the months of August and July and August, so unless we can get some help. So that's what I'm pleading for this evening. If you have the ability to make a basic box and enjoy teaching, I can guarantee you that you'll enjoy teaching the students that we have in the Rough to Ready program. Of those 115 members, and a number of them have come through Rough to Ready, and they have great things to say about the program, and we have great things to say about the students. So help us out if you can. Please see either myself or Ed Stewart tonight, and we can get you started on that path. And even if it's only for the summer, if you have time available for the next 2 or 3 months, please talk to us. We need your help. Thanks.
All right, thank you, John. Come talk to us. I know remember our direction.
Well, time I'm here with the director this week, I'm the director of sponsorships, and I got to say thanks to Dwayne. He's done a great job, and he graciously or gracefully bowed out, and I was approached to take the position, and so we're looking to gain some new sponsorships and make some mutually beneficial relationships where our guild members, I think Carol had mentioned, most of our sponsors, if you go in with your little plastic card, your wallet card, they will give you a discount. A lot of them do require you to have that card, so just don't think you can just walk in and say you're with the guild. They do want to see the card, but they will give you a discount. So looking forward to getting some new people in here. Folks like the Bose product, it's important for us to support them, so when you're thinking about buying products, go out and look at their websites and buy through their retailers, and we'll continue to try to find unique products that we can bring in and present to you guys that are woodworking relevant.
Awesome, thanks, Mike. And we have items for raffle too, so make sure at the break, if you haven't gone already, go try to win some of those amazing prizes or crafts, whatever you want to call them. Training, Rich, you want to come give a training update?
I'll try to be brief. We've got some great upcoming trainings to mention to you. First, I want to talk about skill builders. On July, there is not going to be a skill builder meeting on July 5th. I know we usually do skill builders the first Saturday of every month. We're not going to have one July 5th again. August 2nd, we are going to have cabinet building with Wes Myers, and that's from 2 to 4 on the 2nd. And then on September 6th, we have introduction to SketchUp with Jess Porkman on the next. It'll be open enrollment. This first one is tool that will be held August 15th, and Kat's going to be leading that. The lecture is anyway, the next one is 2 and it's going to be directly. Director will be leading that class on August 16th. This is going to be state stool. When we have the sign up, we'll have a better picture, but the picture of what they're going to make actually has stretchers, and it's a more finished. Finished tool project, but that is going to be held on August 23rd and 24th, and that opened up for enrollment on the 15th. And then last, I'm very excited that we are going to have another Dan Robideau class, and he is going to be doing a basic bird carving basics. He's going to be dealing with clay sculpting, and Dan, you want to come up and tell him a little bit more about it, please?
Well, my name is Dan Rubidoux, and I carve birds. And at any rate, I offer a class on how to carve economic birds. It all starts with a clay model, and we'll be going from natural study, how to create clay, thing. How to is all the equipment, all everything. Once you do that, then transfer that 3D object into a block of wood, and that's another thing entirely. But it all begins with having a clay model. You work out all the problems on the clay model before you ever attempt to carve it. It makes it lots more successful, and you're going to be seeing some examples of some of the classwork that I've done and people that have done and how they've developed and grown in bird carving. So at any rate, that's basically it.
All right, thank you, Dan. Yeah, you'll see the bird carving that Dan and all of his students do is it's just amazing. The last thing on our agenda before we get to show and tell, just want to quickly run down the SIGs, which are our special interest group. Hand tool SIG, the next one is June 22nd, fourth Sundays of the month from 2 to 4. Wayne, what's your topic coming up? Okay, learn how using hand tools, using dados or dados as I would call them, and tongue and groove. I'm just trying to come help you out. Great that's fourth month to be announced and to come to your so to get you user. I'm going to start my. I'm going to repeat that in here. Said he was a sector of SIGs. It's Garrett here. Any people about out if you're home to see it. Perfect. You made 7 tweeted. It's less than a minute goal. So, I'm to get paired over here. Your piece, Jim, or Wyndham to the show as per usual. All right.
So, you're talking about what follow this out. So, so once he hops out, through our feet actually felt off that because anything is down is gone. Wow, it was a neat experience. Try to carve that, Dan. All right, Matt, you want to talk about this?
Pencil box. Is it on? It's a pencil box. And it's basically made out of basswood, and the cover is made out of hedge. That's how it opens. It's got magnets to hold it in place.
And so why did you use basswood for this?
So I can carve it. I want to do chip carving on the sides and the back for the grandkids. I'm thinking of, if it fits this way in the laser burner, I'm not too sure what the height of the laser burner max is. Then I can burn the kid's name in one side and do chip carving on the other side.
Okay, so
That's why it doesn't have a finish on it also.
okay.
Yeah.
Jim, use the mic.
Does this work? No.
Somebody might have turned it off.
All right, we'll switch. So, how many grandkids have you got?
Just 5.
Just 5? You're gonna make 5 boxes?
They're already done.
Oh, so you've made 4 already.
I think I've got about 6 boxes done.
I don't like grandkids. So this is getting the roll this.
For years, I think you've got to pop and kind of design things. It's not like
So
wax and oil.
try it. So pencil. How did you do?
Oh, how long I'm yeah.
So anybody got any questions about this? That's a great idea. I got a couple of. Grandkids that if I can't talk you into making extra ones, I guess I'll have to do it, huh?
The fun part was getting it so that it's not terribly visible here. Having that so people look at it and say, how do I open it?
Oh, so okay, so that only opens halfway on there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Right here. Tell us how you cut the splines.
Oh, just put it on with one of our jigs here. Put it on the table saw and did the slots for the splines.
Did you use a flat bottom curved blade?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Yes, I did.
Have you seen how to do splines without a jig? Yeah, there's a way to do that on a table saw without a jig. That's pretty neat because you put a stop on it and you only run it as far as the kerf on both sides. There's the cut on both, so the top and the bottom. So you put a stop on the fence, just run it to the stop. You've got a curved inside, but you don't need a jig to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a jig here, so we'll just as soon as use that.
Very good. Thanks, Matt. Yes, sir.
I'm Russ Amos. Ooh, ouch. I'm Russ Amos. This is a new book that I'm trying to propose for hiding things.
That's awesome. Why did you choose Robert Ludlook?
Because it was a free book.
Oh, okay. and the cover fit whatever you were.
That's the cover for the book.
So, what are you going to put in here?
Oh, lots of things can go in there. Usually home protection devices, money.
And this is something you're going to sell?
Yeah, I've sold several of them. In fact, I sold one at the first Friday.
Really? So,
No.
Whoa, so actually, you just take the cover and the binding and take all the pages out and use it for toilet paper?
No. This isn't Ranger School.
Oh, okay. Okay, so how much do you charge for one of these?
Like this one right here is $25.
Wow, okay. Any takers? Questions? You, are you, is that a question or are you a taker, Matt?
I use a Forest 2 woodworker blade, which the sides come up to a point and there's a V between the sides, and just move the fence over a 1/16 of an inch each time.
So you get the ruffled page effect.
Right.
Awesome.
In fact, at the first Friday that we had here, I had several books here, and people couldn't understand why somebody would bring books to a sale for woodworking things. It's because they didn't open them up.
Very good. Any other questions? So you don't have to put a finish on this or anything?
Nope. Yeah, it's got a wipe on poly, but you don't have to.
Okay. Very good luck with that. That's kind of an ingenious endeavor.
I've made several of them.
Good. Any other questions? Thanks. All right, who's next? Yes, sir.
Another bird. That bird is a red-breasted nuthatch, and it's kind of difficult to carve because it's not a very big bird. But you know, I do that instead of buying Prozac, and it took a few months to get it done, just because the body only says do that for 30 minutes, take a break, and go do something else, because it's pretty fine carving.
So, what the claws, the feet?
The feet, yes.
Are those? Did you carve
Jim,
those?
Mike.
Did you carve those as well?
Yes. Or I wouldn't say I carved them.
Wow, that's pretty intricate. How many birds have you done?
Half a dozen or so. I started out with Dan Rubidoux' class, but that's been, what, 10 years ago? Yeah, at least.
So you've got half a dozen birds in 10 years?
That's about it, you know. Well, and the last 2 years, I haven't built anything else, so I gotta do something. Yeah.
I love giving you a tough time because I know I'm not going to get it back.
Right.
And so is this basswood?
No, this is Tupelo, and the paint on here is acrylic, and the paint is done in layers. It's not something that you, in Dan's term, it's not like painting the barn. You know, you don't slap it on, because if you do, you cover up all the grooves that you're trying to make feathers out of. And then the mounting on this one, I did something like this. I thought it looked cool, and so it turned out pretty good. You know, the color of it kind of reflects the color of the bird.
Any questions about this from the you guys? This is really wow.
No,
you're getting good at this. Keep it up.
I'll try.
All right.
30 minutes at a time.
Thanks, Ron. All right, Becky.
Another bird.
Awesome. And
okay, so this is Dan Rubidoux.
Yeah.
And I took his stilted sandpiper carving class, and we cut it out of Tupelo on the jigsaw, and then we put it on a what do you call it, like a jig?
Yeah, a jig.
And then we we took the mold that is his next class. He already had that made. And we basically measured each individual point, got the shape, and we carved it out. And then we wood burned it. Then we painted it with oil paints.
Yep. Yeah, this was my last class that I did. And this is a sandpiper. And I only teach maximum three people at a time, because I don't tell my students how to do it. I show my students how to do it. And so I did one just like this, right along with her. Just do what I do. You see me do it, then you do it. Back and forth, back and forth. And that's I look for comprehension of the techniques, because once you learn those techniques, you can carve anything. But there are specific techniques you need to know.
And it's good because when you make a mistake, then he shows you how to get out of the mistake.
Yeah.
And like I chipped one of my wings off and then we fixed it.
Yeah, we show you how to
And
fix them.
The head looked like a dinosaur for a while and now it looks like a bird, so.
Yeah.
It's good class.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had some like evolution issues.
Yeah.
This is your first one?
Yeah, first one.
What's your, what are you going to do some more?
Hopefully the quilt.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to do the clay class. It'll be a different bird entirely. But if you do it in clay, then you can do it like to this. And I teach painting in oil. And that's another thing that I do. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Do you have a question?
Repeat the question, please.
Here. What's the question?
You had a student do a hawk that was landing, the wings out and everything. How would that be different than this one?
Well, because that carving.
Microphone.
Okay, these birds, the illusion is it's all one piece, but actually it's made of several pieces. The wings are carved separately and inserted in, and that's the technique. And then it's just the stance of that. Now all those wings, that's a separate deal. But part of it is knowing how to connect them, and there's a way to connect them so that they're sturdy. So.
That answer your question? Somewhat. Okay.
Come and see me.
Very good. Thanks, Dan. Next. Is this one working? Good. Hi.
Hello, I'm Dave Katke, and this is an Antarctica job I did a couple years ago. It's got cherry and pine and aspen and I think maple. It's got several different woods in it. And I didn't come up with a pattern. I just did the work. The pattern is from Judy Gale Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a bigger pattern, and I reduced it by 25%, so, or to 25%.
So it was much
Yeah, it was
bigger
much
than this?
bigger than this, yeah.
Okay.
Which made it a little harder to cut the little pieces, but.
And you cut these pieces on a scroll saw?
Yeah, cut it on a scroll saw, and then sand them and shape them to get the texture and stuff, so.
That is really intricate how you got the pieces so close together, and I virtually don't see any gaps whatsoever in them. So you must have to really custom fit them.
Yeah, well, you just got to be careful on the scroll saw. Cut them,
so
real careful.
What are you going to do with this?
It's hanging on the wall in our house.
Okay, so your wife wouldn't let you give it away, or?
No, I haven't been able to give anything away yet.
I have a solution for that.
What's that?
My wife would enjoy a piece like this very much.
Oh.
just saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's about, I think it was 45 to 48 hours or something.
Have you got any plans to do any in the future?
I'm doing them all the time.
Is this primarily what you do, is Intarsia?
No, I do other things. I brought in that little box with the ribbons
okay,
on it.
I remember that.
And I do, what is that called? I make boxes out of...
Bandsaw boxes?
No. Shoot, I can't think of the word. You cut out what you don't want, and it makes a pattern, and you can see right through it. It's, I do that too.
So, you're going to do this in the future. Do you know Dave Roth?
I may, but I don't.
He is probably, he's a member of this guild. He is probably one of the leading Intarsia people in the country.
Wow.
Right after the lady that you just mentioned. He's done, probably at least 50 or 60 big pieces. So if you're looking for some inspiration,
okay, great.
I highly recommend. He's a really good craftsman, and he's made a living at the raffle. That's how he geared up his shop, as he wins the raffle every so.
Okay.
Anyway, that was free.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Any questions about this? This is really a neat project. And we haven't had any Intarsia here for a long time, so thank you for doing that. Yeah. Questions, anybody? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
One last bird. Okay. This is an American kestrel and a marsh wren. This is made out of tupelo. This is tupelo. This is butternut. The beak is holly. The tongue in there is a piece of copper. Painted in oil, anatomically correct, done with a steady skin and a clay model. So before I ever attempted this, I did all my vision in clay model. This is these are actually pieces put together and glued together. And I had I was at a competition, which I don't do anymore, but I had one of my carvings set aside because they said it cannot be on found wood. And it was not found wood. But after it was all done, then this thing was,
So this is a piece, the base was a piece of butternut, you said?
Yeah,
and you distressed it?
And I carved all that out of it. This whole thing is a carving. The whole thing.
How did you explain the process of distressing that?
The stress, what do you mean?
How you got the texture?
Oh, there's tools that I can do to get all that in. And then this is painted with acrylic. I paint my habitat with acrylic, but the bird is always in oil.
Okay.
But there's specific tools that I use. I use a grinder that turns at 40,000 RPM, and it grinds it down. It's done power carving. This is not done with a knife and chisel and that type of thing. So that's what I do.
Any questions about this? Yeah, Russ.
How many pieces of wood made up the trunk?
Oh, well, I really don't know. I hide my seams. I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And there's a wire insert so they don't break off, and there's this special type of glue that I use. It's an epoxy thing. So that's what it is.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So because of that piece that got rejected incorrectly from the competition, have you exaggerated the shape of that branch so that it's really obvious that?
No, I don't. I carve it to what I like.
Okay.
And I really don't care what a judge says.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the
I was just
judge
curious
is
if
the
that
person who buys
affected
it.
kind of, and then maybe you liked that it was more
Yeah.
stylized or exaggerated or something. Okay.
Yeah, it's an issue with competition.
Okay.
So. No, the wood stand.
Please repeat the
other thing
questions.
is, the wood stand is not. But this is all arranged on here according to a Fibonacci code. There's a mathematical code with this bird here and the length of this and where this is placed. And actually on this little bird here, the wings were carved separately and put in together. It's an involved thing, but once you learn it, you just go anywhere with it.
Did you give consideration to the fact that in Mother Nature in real life, that little bird is food for that bigger bird?
Yeah. Well, that little wrens just cuss you out. If you ever been around a little wren, they just cuss you out. And that's why I wanted to, but that's right. But he's protected by this little branch here, so he can talk what he wants. So, at any rate.
Any other questions? Good. Thanks again. Wow.
Reminder to everyone, please use the microphones, hold it close, and raise your hand so we can hear it, because we are not hearing the questions online or our guests watching.
Okay, who's next? Hi, Mike.
Last month, Matt said that he would like to see different kinds of carving and painting. This is relief carving. It's painted with watercolors. And then Krylon mat is sprayed over the top to protect it.
So these are, talk about
It's basswood is what is being carved.
Okay, and then once you've got the
Jim.
Once you've got this, the carving done, then the painting comes next in the chronological order. How you do this?
Right. Right.
And when you choose a setting like this, how do you do that? What made you pick this picture?
It was already printed on the basswood for me to carve.
Awesome. So, excuse me for asking. So, what are you going to do with these?
They're hanging on the wall in our house.
Okay, so in your own home.
Yes, I took it off the wall to bring it in here because Matt wanted to see relief carving.
You plan on doing any more of these?
Maybe. I don't know.
Can you pick one that without a pre-printed picture on it?
I probably could come up with something.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd love to see it. That's a challenge to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody got any questions about these? Yes, sir.
Hand carving or power carving?
Hand carving. No.
How many took that?
Maybe I remember some carving. Plain or this is different. I hate because don't use my nails running into the
which is back to did that.
Put nails in.
Okay.
These cut not for me.
That's, you know, I was for like per second. And took me about 45 minutes on a, and it just took a while, and then the the finish on the Baltic birch panel that I used is just shellac. It's nothing fancy. And the frame, however, is what I wanted to talk about. Now, a couple weeks back, we had a skill builder here, right here, and they had these half-lap joints using a Japanese cutting technique, Myra jigs, and do you remember what they're anyway, I got it all inspired, and I went home and I made a whole bunch of these picture frames, and I'm using half-lap joints and making, ankle miters and, a lot of different mitered half-laps, and, it was just fun to do, and they're all hand-cut jigs. I mean,
and what
hand-cut.
And the frame is made out of.
Oh yeah, the frame's made out of a fence picket that I had in the backyard. It's a cedar fence picket that I took it up here and I ran it through the thickness planer and sanded it and got it all nice and pretty, and took it back to my shop at my house and just used my table saw and cut it down real good, and then I used the hand saw to cut the half laps, and then about a hanger to hang it.
What kind of a finish did you put on the frame?
You'll be happy. Odie's oil.
Awesome. All right.
It's a walnut stain on cedar with Odie's oil, and I don't know. It's gotten a bunch of stuff. I took it down here to First Fridays and didn't sell it, but maybe next time.
All right. Questions?
Yeah. Questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Wow. Here you go.
Is that a good-looking table leg?
This is a table leg?
That's a table leg.
Awesome.
I think Chris has pictures, I hope. Yeah. So there's my daughter wanted a island for her kitchen. So that's about 2 by 4 feet. Learned how to use I don't know. I practiced using a Stanley 45 on the aprons, doing beading on the aprons, and it does have a solid base on it now. So, and the finish is paint.
You're kidding. So,
I designed it, brother.
Yeah. Sir.
We're going to drink
Kansas City Woodworkers Guild's ongoing series of machine safety videos. Our discussion today will cover your introduction to the safety rules and requirements of the various bandsaws owned by the Guild and how to safely operate these popular pieces of equipment. Keep in mind that this video is meant to cover the safety concerns of this machine and not a complete training program for the use of the bandsaw. When in the shop, please direct any questions about using these or any other machines to the on-duty shop foreman. He or she is there to act as your main resource to help keep you safe and to provide advice and assisting you to successfully complete your project. You should always remember, the most important of safety concerns is to wear OSHA-approved safety glasses with side shields at all times while in the Kansas City Woodworkers Guild shops. Your regular glasses are not approved for use when participating in any shop activity while you're at the Guild. When using any of our bandsaws, it is doubtful that the noise level would necessitate hearing protection, but if you feel more comfortable wearing earplugs or earmuffs, by all means do so. One caution on hearing protection though, Guild rules stipulate that any hearing protection may not have the ability to receive any type of broadcast music or podcasts. Failure to follow this requirement may result in losing your shop privileges. The bandsaw has a thin blade in the form of a continuous loop. It is useful for cutting curves, resawing, and cutting thick material. Before turning on the bandsaw, make sure that the blade tension lever is in the on position and that the blade tracks with the gullets tracking in the center of the tires when you rotate the wheels by hand. The teeth of the bandsaw blade should be pointing down toward the cutting surface of the saw. The blade should be 1/32 of an inch from the roller bearing guide behind the blade. There are guides both above and below the saw table, and both should be checked for proper adjustment. Side guide bearings or blocks should also be adjusted to 1/32 of an inch away from the sides of the blade and should be behind the teeth on the blade. If you aren't sure what the tolerances are or how to set them, check with the shop foreman, and they can help you the first time you're going through the process. Make sure that the upper and lower wheel guard doors are closed and latched before you turn on the bandsaw. Set the upper guide as low as possible to your workpiece without touching the wood you're going to cut. This guarantees that the blade is completely covered without room for a finger to accidentally slip under the guide. The maximum distance for the guide to be above the stock should not exceed 1/4 of an inch or as low as possible if you need to clear a fence mounted on the bandsaw. Any bystanders should be instructed to remain away from the right-hand area of the saw and not be closer than 24 inches from you while you're operating the saw. It is especially important to keep any bystanders away from the right-hand side of the bandsaw. Broken blades have a tendency to fly out to the right and may cause very serious injury to bystanders standing on the right side of the machine. When you're cutting small or short stock, use push sticks, feather boards, or other appropriate safety devices to control the workpiece as you make your cut. Do not force a cut. Allow the blade to dictate the rate of cutting. Forcing a cut can and will probably break the blade on the bandsaw. Don't cut stock that is not flat on the bottom without holding it in an appropriate jig. As an example, when cutting cylindrical objects, you should use a V-block as we're demonstrating here. When working with long or cumbersome material, set a roller stand to support your work as it enters and leaves the saw. It can become impossible to support these materials without the help of some kind of support system. When making cuts with the table at an angle, clamp a block to the table to keep your stock from slipping off. While resawing wood, it is okay to start your cut when standing on the in-feed side of the blade, then letting go of your workpiece, circling around the machine to the out-feed side of the table, then pulling your material through the blade. Again, make sure you get fast and handle the stock. If you back away from the machine off, you like to stop backing out. If you make a cut or bump, you should be very expensive. Keep it spot. It has a minimum we have a saw. It shouldn't risk it. If it does break, shut it off and clean stops. When it stops, plug the saw form to table, which make it never let it stop. Or bandsaw and stop capture because it creates it and vacuum the film somewhere. Then you use the bandsaw, clean the rest of them for more. This is working.
silicone, the first thing you do is cake it in sawdust. Make it nice and slippery because it's sticky right now. But you want it to glide, right? So it's flexible. And what's really nice about that, and that's firm flex. It's flexible, but it's not flimsy. That's a firm flex. And you get continuous pressure all the way up the leading edge of the cut. So you want to do thin strips, you got pressure all the way up. You want to do odd shapes, you can feed odd shapes through there, and it won't come off or mar or anything like that. So it's really firm and durable and replaceable if it gets damaged, but you know, that's how it works. So it just sits in there, it pivots, you know, and then you kind of get it to position and you lock it in. I'll just show you that one more time. You know, I get it up right around where I want it, just lock it down, and here I go. That's one of our best sellers. We sell that everywhere. Very popular all over the world. So that's the Guide Pro, and then we have 2 accessories. You can take that silicone feather out and take it up to 10 inches if you're doing tall panel work. So that's one accessory specifically for that. And then for those who say, I don't want it loose. I'm going to do a number of repetitive cuts on similar boards. I'm going to run a lot of cuts. Then you can take the cam off and lock it down with a bar and attach this. That's called the anchor bar. So those are 2 accessories for the Guide Pro. Again, one of our best-selling lines. Any questions on that? Make sense? Awesome. You guys are easy. Again, I must be doing a good job. I'm not hearing anything from my buddy Izzy either, so I must have covered that well. So the Guide Pro and the 2 accessories. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about, let's slide in the couple of new products here. There we go. And I'll just set these here, up on here. Now we just came out with these products. That one I'll cover later when I do the extender fence line. I'll do the easy one first. Okay, thank you. So, actually one more thing. Very good. The first product, and maybe you haven't heard of it at all yet, is called it's called a pack of dogs, but what it is it's a dog clamp. And we sell them in a set of 6 in a pre-cut EVA tray that fits into a sustainer. So you can take it out of here and drop it into a small sustainer. And it's basically knobs, bolts, and our patented new expandable dog. And the way that works is, and these are all designed symmetrically, but they just basically expand like a target bolt, like a wall bolt. It's uniform and symmetric, so that as you apply pressure, it'll work on a 3/4, 19, and 20 millimeter hole. It'll expand, but what separates these from everything else is that when you use them, you can fixture with this. That's why that bolt is so tall. So you could have like a 3/4 board in between the knob and the expanding dog. You could make your fixtures and lock them down into a dog hole. So as you tighten it, and by the way, you tighten it from the top. I don't have to go underneath. The dog starts expanding and it grabs. And so the difference between our expandable dogs and most others, it's not just a stop. You can grip it and it'll hold from the top. So as I turn the knob, I think it's probably hard to see, but it's expanding, it's opening up, uniform. So if the hole was 3/4, maybe a 1/2 inch, it would actually expand underneath and grip so you can't pull up. And Izzy's even done a video for me where he's done, he's holding equipment off the side, fixtures, using these dogs to mount from the top. So that's an example where it's going through the table, there's your fixture, and you're holding down. So it's clever.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah.
Bill, one of the really unique things about these expanding dogs is you've seen expanding dogs before. If you have, they only expand at the bottom. What happens when a dog expands at the bottom is it fills up that gap, but it leaves a little room for side load, a little bit of room for wiggle. With the Bose expanding dogs, you have a 360-degree clamping force at both the top and the bottom of the dog. So you're filling up the whole hole, for lack of a better way of putting it. And that also makes it really good for, side load. So if you're clamping a board down to a bench, or you're fixturing, in my case, I fixture one of our small portable router tabletops to our bench using the dogs. You don't have to worry about any shear force or side load or any, small movements, which can cause problems in some operations, especially if you're, operating a sharp chisel.
Yeah, thanks, Izzy. And again, the design is uniform, so it'll accommodate a hex head and a T-bolt on each side, right? So that's a new product for us. Again, patented it because it's different. It expands. It's different than most dogs. Any questions on that? Okay, the other one that's brand new as well is called our low-profile clamping kit. And, the inspiration for this was a CNC manufacturer asked us to design this for him and his company. And we did. And we expanded the kit here to make the clamp and the two stops and the two clamps in this kit will work on a dog table. Dogs look familiar. It'll work with T-track tables, MFT tables. It'll work with CNCs that are using spoil board, so it'll reach down beneath the spoil board. Or there's a washer in here if you just want to use a wood screw to secure the clamp. So there's virtually every possible way you could secure this clamp is in this kit. And no matter what table you own, you can just get a piece of wood and clamp to it. So it's versatile in that it fits all the different work holding table platforms. And what the clamp is it's very simple. It's got a 4-inch travel range, and the tip just extends down there. So before you secure the clamp in place, you're just going to take the tip and walk it all the way back up the ramp. I should have said this earlier. The premise that he wanted for the CNC was to hold work from the side, strong, and the board not raise. And so that's what we did. We're dropping this down this slope over about a 1/2 inch. I think we drop at 12 degrees. And the holding force is incredible once you try these out. And I'm going to leave this set here with the Guild. But once you're secure and you start moving this, it'll drive it right down the ramp and hold the wood. And there's two stops, on the other side to hold against, right? So, and each fence also will secure with a screw or a T-track or a dog. So all the parts are in the kit. Now the other thing that makes it, that we added to it as well is different tips. So I guess this one's not surprising to you, an EVA tip, right? So EVA and bow, why not? Let's do it. So you got soft material or material you don't want to mar. There's a replaceable little EVA tip in this tip. Then there's a corner tip, so you can grab corners and hold. There's a super low profile tip. So you want to work the edge, you can put this on and push down from the side. Now you can work your edge. And then we call this the max grip. This will hold anything. So this will just bite into anything. So you have interchangeable tips, and you have two clamps that'll work on any work holding platform. And this will also fit into a Sustainer 3, so you can store it there and out of the box. We cut it into a EVA tray, surprise again. So, and then, we put the laminated instructions, so you always keep these. They tell you how to assemble everything, where everything goes, all the parts, where they go in the tray, what the applications are. So CNC appears to be the biggest interest for this kit. We may come out and sell the clamps separately from the kit, but at least we wanted to start there with a kit that'll work on all the different things. Yes?
Will that work on a slab flattening jig or a table?
Just a flat table?
Well, yeah, if I'm flattening a piece of wood, like we have a slab flattener in the back there, could you use that to hold the wood down while you're going back and forth across with the router to flatten the thing?
I'm gonna defer that to you, Izzy, if you heard that.
Yeah, that would be a wonderful application for it on a slab flattener. It also, you know, it performs quite well on the CNC. We've used it on ours when we're flattening slabs, you know, running a 3.5-inch reaper bit through 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch of material on everything from pine to poplar to some hardwoods, and had just wonderful results with it.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
Will that work with a micro jig table? That is the dovetail?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Let me just call a friend. You see why I did this? You guys see why this happens. Thank you, Izzy. But no, actually, the feedback we're getting from this, you know, a lot of folks in Europe as well just love it. We have a metric kit over there. You know, this is all Imperial here. So that's called our low-profile clamping kit, just came out. And yeah, I wanted to show that to you. You have anything to add to that, Izzy? Did I cover that okay?
There's a lot of parts in the kit, which make it really handy on MFTs. So, you know, multifunction tables, typical wood workbenches, dog holes that have the traditional dog holes for hold fasting and also for bump cutting. So if you're, you know, doing some hand planing and just need something real quick, the fences in there work really well for that, and they're low profile. So anything over 1/2 inch thick, you're safe on. Plus, if you're doing, if you're, you know, hitting it with the planer at a 45, these are really nice to hold those materials, those larger flat panels that you typically would have to set something up for. This is just a really fast way to do that on the workbench. So while they're primarily, the primary focus has been on CNC tech, it also does a great job on the traditional workbenches and MFTs. And the nice thing I like about it in the kit is pretty easy to take it to the job with you, or, you know, to your neighbor's house if you're working on some projects there, and it ends up being just a really good, quick clamping solution.
Yep.
So in the packaging, you've got that top sheet, which is just a spongy foam.
Right.
What if that was pre-cut and perforated to be replacement tips? That sheet right there.
Oh, you mean, well, this is very...
Right, but what if it was EV?
Oh, EVA? Well, it can affect my cost a little bit, but I'll look into that.
What if I'm paying more?
Well, you can get anything you want, sir.
So you're saying I deserve the best I can afford?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, just one other point. When we talked about this before, this is just a cutout example. The T-bolts lengths that are in the kit and these two what we call, help me, Izzy, just went brain dead.
I can't see it from here, Bill. I don't know what you're holding.
The barrel nuts. These two barrel nuts have different
barrel
lengths,
nut.
so that you can get that depth in anything in between. So if you're using spoil board and you're cutting it down, you can continue to change the T-bolts out. So you have a range where you're in the kit that you can make these work. So we thought all that through just to make sure that you never, you know, ran out of what you would need in any clamping situation you'll run into. All right, so those are the new products, the Pack of Dogs and the low profile clamping kit. Any more questions? All good on that. All right, Mike, let's do a little moving here. I want to show you the next product line is the extender fence. And this we introduced last year, and it quadrupled our business in 1 year. Yeah. And then I showed you over, thank you, Mike. I showed you over here the feed support on the 36-inch fence that fits the bandsaw. And I'll bring that feed support back. But this is actually a popular application as well. So before I get into the product line, I just want to tell you that, you know, go back to what our mantra is at Bow and what we're trying to do. A lot of folks get into our trade this way, right? I mean, they might want to do one project, and they'll start with a small saw. And they can experience kickback or some scary stuff if they're not careful. And what we wanted to do was to take small table surfaces and basically make them safer than they are for those folks just getting in. Or a lot of people own these types of saws anyway, like over in Europe, the majority of the market over there is smaller saws because they don't have the room for the bigger saws. So we give them a fence that expands the table surface, and you can take it on and off in 8 seconds with 2 T-track clamps, and just hang it up on the wall, all assembled if you don't want to use it, or bring it to your machine. Or if you don't want to do work here and you want to move it to the bandsaw, you can do that quickly too. Or if you have one of the big saws, you can use this too. It's a taller fence, tall panel work. It's got the slot for fence feather boards or stops or other accessories you might use on a bigger saw. But the application of small table surfaces is what took off for us. So I'm just going to take this feed support and put it back on here. So imagine feeding a board. Let's see if I can do this upside down. And there we go, righty-tighty that way. And, you know, you got this much table surface before the blade. And you got a board, and I just bought this somewhere, and I'm doing it for the first time, and I'm getting myself distracted. And I move that board just a little bit. And that's where trouble starts. So we wanted to expand the table surface. And most small table surfaces for these small saws, I would never use less than our largest fence, which is this 46-inch fence. Why? Because the 36, the next largest size, you might run into your controls, the feed supports might bump them, it might not fit all the way on. So if you're going to go, spend the extra $10 and buy the bigger one. But we got all kinds of recognition on this, and kudos, I guess. Set this up. And the basic premise is that you have expanded feed support, you have in-feed and out-feed feed control. If you put our feather boards and push sticks with it, you've added safety and better cuts. So you're just going to have better cuts because the feed is true. It's squared up. So now, instead of a little 7-inch surface, I've got all this feed support coming through the cut. Should grab a push stick and do this right, but you get it. Oh, thank you, sir. Now I'm coming through the cut. I've got this fence feather board positioned really so that I can stop and turn the blade off. And I keep coming through. And what some folks might do where they can get in trouble is they could worry about that board falling off and they reach over the saw. I don't have to. It's holding it for me. And that is what they buy the most of. So when I told you that the fence system took our company right off in terms of tabletop safety, it's this kit right here. And they buy it all the time. They buy the whole thing. I want the whole thing and the push stick. I want the feed control, the feed support. and the kickback protection. And we get people writing in saying, I used my saw once and I never used it again, scared me. And now I'm using it again, thank you, Bow Products. So you can take this fence, so let me just tell you a little bit about the fence for a second and the design. We have three size fences. We have the 24-inch, 36, and the 46. They're all designed the same profile. 1 inch thick, so you keep your measuring integrity in 1 inches. And they have these clamping slots in the back. So these clamping slots just take a standard T-track. It doesn't have to be ours, it could be any T-track. And it allows you to take it low down behind the fence. So if you're working, even if you're using a big saw with a Biesmeyer style fence, you can take the clamp all the way out and get around that too. And clamp on that quickly. But these allow you to change the position of the fence. We have these things called standoffs here underneath. These should always be on the table surface. So if I'm positioning this fence forward for in-feed or back for out-feed, I have to slide these to stay on the table surface. And they also register the height of the table to the feed support. So the 24-inch we sell, it's our least selling one, but we got some ideas. Izzy and I are working on ideas to connect these, possible drill press solutions, in-feed, out-feed, connecting fences, routers. This is an ecosystem that we're building on, and we're going to continue to build accessories for capitalizing on these slots for different things, right? So the design is the same on all of these. And so when I was talking about positioning the fence, I could slide this feed support off, take the clamps out, and move this all to outfeed. Clamp it back. And I put this leg on here. I think you guys can see this. So we designed the feed support with a cavity that'll accept a 2x4 or anything less underneath. And then you can drive a wood screw through there to secure it like I did. Why is that relevant? Let's say I'm out there by myself and I want to cut longer, heavier boards, or I'm a contractor, what have you, and I'm by myself, then I can take this fence and go out and put a board on here, and I can do that work without necessarily needing a helping hand. In fact, a good friend of mine is a contractor. That's what he does for his work. And he called me one day and he said, Bill, I'll tell you what, I had to run 400 pieces of trim for a job I was on. And I used to have my buddy come out and help me catch them after the cut. And then we'd cut the pieces and go. But he's off installing them, I'm cutting them by myself. Thank you. So he's a lot more productive with that. But getting back to the system, you can go in-feed, out-feed, or both. You can put the fence on a full-size saw just for a taller fence in the slots, or you can move it to a bandsaw. Does that make sense? It's so simple I could sell it, right? So, unless he's not nodding back there, I don't know. But there's a bit of a chamfered edge on each side so that you don't hit the board as it's coming out. So we designed that. And all the system is, and we have our little portable saw feather board, which is narrow. It fits on this small surface here versus our big table feather boards like down at the end there. So, so the system is a table feather board. These are sold in sets, fence feather boards, all with the EVA. The set of feed supports, they're also sold together in a set of clamps. And this is the most popular of the ones. Okay, any questions?
Hello?
Yep.
You said you were working on, working with Izzy to get them connected so you have longer lengths. Can you also stack them for like the bandsaw and you're ripping taller pieces?
So stack them this way?
Stack them that way, yes.
We haven't done anything with that yet. We haven't discussed that yet. So the answer is no, we're not working on that yet, but we are looking.
Feel free to give me credit.
Yes. I think you're on record. I think we got that. But, going back to, so the answer is not yet, but we'll look at that. Did you have another question or, okay. Any other questions?
So, got a question for you on the bandsaw. If you don't already have a fence on the bandsaw, is there any way to connect your extender on it, or do you have to have a fence already?
Well, the system's designed to mount to an existing fence, but maybe somebody knows something I don't know, and there's a way. Yeah.
You can. Using the bow clamps, they slide into a slot that's on the bottom of the fence. So you can put a fence on a bandsaw depending on the table on the bandsaw. I'm not sure I would encourage anybody to do that without having some kind of bracing, but it is possible.
So what you're saying, Izzy, is to maybe come with the clamp this way into the slot on the bottom? And,
Yep.
And slide, you could slide that clamp over, grip the table.
Yeah, we've done some of that here in the shop, just for temporary purposes on router tables, getting some extra feet out of our router tables. It wasn't precision work. I'll mention that.
Okay, any other questions on the system? Again, what's really cool about it is you could take it on and off and real quick. There may be times when you just want to do tall panel work, or you want to put a stop in here or something on your table saw. This fence has all that capability for you. Very, very popular item for us, and we're going to continue to develop accessories around that. And of course, I'm leading you into our next product, which we have not released yet. And Izzy's going to help me talk about that. Let me just get this on here. Loosen it, Bill. There you go. So one of the products that Mr. Izzy Swan came up with for Bow Products, because a lot of people were calling us saying, does your fence accept Jessam roller guides? Because I have Jessam roller guides and I want to use those. And the answer was no. But Izzy, and we now sell this, is a Jessam roller guide adapter bracket. So the bracket will slide into this slot in the top, and then you can just put the Jessam roller guides on here.
Bill, I think it's fair to mention, sorry for the interruption, I think it's fair to mention that the Jessam rollers, there's now 4. There was 3 versions a couple months ago. The tabletop, the big style that sits on top of the table saw and comes out on a bar, and then there's also ones that they sell for job sites, and then there's also another one that they sell for router tables. So it's to be really clear, the one they sell for job site saws is the ones that fit on those Jessam plates.
Right. Good. Good. So, yeah, question.
I have a question. Do you only have one, I guess if you call it a T-slot or whatever you want to call it, the top of that? Are you, in the future, are you thinking about putting one lower? So maybe if you wanted to cut a larger panel, that you could put a panel, something there to hold the panel in place with the 2 T-slots, because you won't have enough stability with just one to put, a piece of wood up there, so you put a panel across.
I mean, we haven't talked about it. Izzy, is there another way around that, or would that have to be another slot?
No, it's been a while, Bill, but I showed you a solution for that some time ago. It was another product for locking the cutting taller boards and panels in. We've talked about it.
But so there is a solution for what he's trying to do.
Yes.
What is it?
It's a product. I can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it? Okay.
It's just a panel ripping system that would sit over the fence in some form or fashion that'll hold panels and boards vertically. So if you're doing, let's say, you're doing a dado or a half lap on the end of a board, you could run the board through safely on the end, or a panel as well.
Well, I make some cabinets, okay, and sometimes I have to do the miter, it's not a miter, but you do the slope on the thing, then you do a thin little bead so it slides through the stiles and rails and everything on it. But for the door, the door panel inside. And I was thinking if you could hold it up, have some place to hold it up, because if, some of them are like, 20 inches high or something like that. And that's, some kind of stability. You want to have something in the back to hold it in place and everything while you do that cut.
Is that another accessory you're working on for this line? Izzy, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's one that we looked at, I would say 9 months ago. We shelved it for the other products we chose to move forward on until later.
Okay. Working on it. Anything else? Okay. So Izzy, this is a product that Izzy, that we shelved that one for to do this one first. And this is really cool. And it's called the L fence. I think you guys are familiar with what an L fence is. But what makes this one different is that it'll work on a table saw and a bandsaw. And Izzy, I think you did a video and you said that you wanted to talk about this one, so fire away.
Okay, so the L fence is one of those things that I've always made jigs for in the past, and it's always a bit of a pain because you don't use them, or I didn't use my jigs very often because it was such a pain to get to build or set up. So I wanted a simple solution, and their extender fence system was a perfect marriage for this, given the height of the system. So I think Chris said earlier that if I shared my screen, I could show you guys a couple videos. Let me know if this works. So stop me if it doesn't. We'll start with the table saw. This is the 3D printed version of the L fence when we were first talking about it. Let me get this going here. Can you guys see that okay, Bill?
Yes. So you can see your work. Yeah. Yeah. See-through, yeah. You guys know Izzy does a lot of videos. He's good with this.
So where it really shines, everyone, is in template cutting. When you have a lot of repeatable cuts, so think, templates for Adirondack chairs, obviously different forms here. So on the table saw, whenever you have let's say a tapered leg, you could pattern that out with a template and makes it very repeatable. And that's really its superpower, is getting very accurate, very repeatable results every time. And I wish I would have held up some of those cuts afterwards with a decent blade in there. There was very little sanding left to do, no coming back after the original cut to use it on a router table for the template. It was just kind of a one and done situation where we set it up and very quickly went through all the patterns that we have to. Now the real I think genius in this system isn't that it does amazing jobs on the table saw, it's that we can take it over now to the bandsaw and use it in a very similar form. Now this video is, I think, probably a minute or so long. I'm gonna go ahead and play that now. This is the L fence system being used on a table saw. Now, not only can it cut nice and, on a bandsaw, not only can it cut nice and straight on the bandsaw, but it also has an interesting built-in little feature, and I'll let the video explain that.
So that's the guide here, the follower.
Yeah, that's the guide follower that's built into the system. The thing I really like about it is that it's attached to the fence, so it is very secure. It does not move even when you're cutting through 2-inch hard maple. It doesn't, you can't budge it. So that's another kind of a safety feature. And one of the unique things that we found, let me pull up a couple just images here that you guys can see, so you can see it without all the noise of the video, how it works. So you can see the template on top of the maple, and it's just butt up against the guide fence. And I'm just offset there, I don't know, probably less than 1/16 of an inch. And the real beauty of it is, for those of you who use bandsaws a lot, you know that the feed speed, or the speed at which you are introducing the material to the blade, as long as you stay consistent in that speed, so you start and finish as close to the same speed, you get a much better quality cut. It's when you're slowing down, stopping, and speeding up throughout the cut that you can get some inconsistencies in the quality of cut. And this really lets you focus on just, feeding that material through all at the same speed, really just taking your mind off of having to always stop, pause, follow the line, and you end up with some just amazing quality cuts. In fact, later in the video, all I do is give this a light sanding, and these are ready to go. So that's one of the real superpowers of the L-Fence system.
There you go, as explained by the pro himself.
Well.
Any questions? I'm sensitive to time because I know it's getting late here. So I hope I didn't go too fast on anything, and that you guys got the product line. But at Bow Products, we're going to continue to add to this system. We're going to continue to innovate. We got a super exciting new tool coming out at the end of the year, and we've got a long list of other things we're going to keep developing. So I like the idea. This is the first time I've been live in front of, a guild of woodworkers that know a hell of a lot more than I do about this stuff. And I would like to take advantage of that and maybe run some of the new product ideas by you guys before we finish the design. So we spoke about that. There's NDAs involved and things like that are necessary, but it sure is good to get feedback, just like Izzy did for Keith and I at Bow. Just his wealth of knowledge has really stepped up our game. So we're 100% committed to quality. Our return rates are virtually nil, and our warranty policy is, I don't care how old it is, you're getting another one. We don't screw around with customers at all. If there's a problem, we fix it, and we just really haven't had much issue there. So I encourage you to support our dealers. Woodcraft and Rockler are in the town here. And it wouldn't be right for us to sell to you. We would rather you go buy from them, and they're what makes our world go round. The dealers are very important to Bow, and we want we want them along with us. So please support them if you see anything you like here. They offer it. Okay. Somebody raised a question about tariffs. Yeah, we started to manufacture our tools in China, just cost and all of that. We now manufacture them in Vietnam, but we make all of our feathers in St. Louis, ship them over there. I mean, Keith and I just really didn't want to start a manufacturing plant at this point in our lives. It was too much. We just wanted to keep the business simple. I am looking to possibly reshore the fence now. I'm looking at that. Aluminum fence, but that's who we are. That's what we do. Our supplier is a wonderful company that supplies Home Depot, Lowe's, all the major tool companies. They're very big, very dear friends of mine, and good people that produce a quality product. So that's a little bit of a background of where we are, what we're going through right now. But we're not raising prices. We've eaten some, we'll eat more, but we're going to keep it where it is. All right. Anything to add, Izzy?
Nope, I think you did it. Bill asked me to come in case he missed anything, but he didn't really need me tonight. You
Oh,
did a
yeah,
great job.
right. Okay, so I'm going to take this opportunity to do a plug. This is the first anybody's going to hear about this. Izzy is launching his own company. And I guarantee you, from what I've seen so far, you will all buy tools from Swan Tool Group. He's got some amazing stuff already. He's got 165 product ideas written down. Got to start somewhere, Izzy. In one of the best tool minds and a real treasure to our industry, and I think you guys are going to just love the products that he puts out with his company, Swan Tool Group. That's starting later this year, and I've been privy to it, guiding him a little bit, working with him on the business side, but you guys are going to love it. So there's your plug, Izzy.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. And if no other questions, then I guess we'll call it.
I was tagged to make sure that
Oh.
everybody that comes and presents, we give the Kansas City Woodworkers coffee mug to. So thank you
so
for coming.
much. Yeah.
And Izzy, we got one for you too.
Awesome, thank you.
Bill can get it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So appreciate it. And then when you get your line set up, we'll just have you come out here and demonstrate it like this.
I'd be happy to. That'd be wonderful.
That'd be great. Oh,
Okay, Tom, get your mug shot.
gotta get
Oh,
in
the
the
mug
mug shot.
set. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. All right, thank you.
And since
Thanks, Izzy.
our president has gone, I guess we close the meeting. We're done. Meeting adjourned.
Izzy, thank you so much for joining us, bud.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. This kit, yeah, it's roughly